Hey, what's up, Fight Family? This is Contemplate Boxing. Hope everybody is enjoying this Tuesday, March the 3rd. I want to talk a little bit about a lot of stuff that's kind of been in the boxing news a little bit. We're still kind of talking about, the aftermath of Deontay Wilder's shocking loss to Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. Now, there's been a lot of talk as of late from two surprising individuals that have actually offered to train, or seem to have offered to train, Deontay Wilder for the trilogy fight against Tyson Fury. One of whom is George Foreman, all-time great heavyweight, and then you also have another all-time great in Floyd Mayweather Jr. Both men have stated that they would be willing, or seem to state that they'd be willing to train Deontay Wilder for this trilogy fight. And I actually found this very interesting. And on my Instagram page, I actually kind of put the question out for anybody that sees, anybody that wants to comment, who do you think would be a better fit to train Deontay Wilder if Deontay Wilder did actually hire either of them for their services and expertise? And I had to think about this for a little bit. Of course, Floyd Mayweather Jr., he is one of the most technically proficient fighters that we've ever seen in the sport. A lot of people will argue that. A lot of people will say, hey, he's, the greatest of all time. Some people will say he's one of the greatest of all time. Whatever it is that you think about him, it can't be taken away that Floyd Mayweather Jr., you can't say that he doesn't have his technical skills down to a very specific science. He definitely specializes in the sweet science and pugilism, hitting and not getting hit. So I think a lot of people would naturally want to side with Floyd Mayweather Jr. and say, hey, you got to get with Floyd. Floyd will definitely teach you all the tricks of the trade, et cetera, et cetera. And I really had to think about this because initially that's where my mind automatically went to. However, if I were Deontay Wilder, I don't think I would actually go that route. And here's why. I don't think that Deontay Wilder would be able to learn all of those things, within whatever given time frame before the trilogy fight. I know right now they're kind of aiming for sometime in July of this year for that trilogy fight. As great of a fighter as Floyd Mayweather Jr. is, I'm not so certain that he can teach technical skills to Deontay Wilder and have Deontay Wilder execute those down pat before the fight against Tyson Fury, or even for the fight against Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is already a more technically proficient fighter, so Deontay Wilder is not going to outskill or out-technique Tyson Fury. So I don't think Floyd Mayweather Jr. would be the way to go. Between the two, to be honest with you, I do think George Foreman may actually be a better fit for somebody like Deontay Wilder. The reason why is I kind of look at George Foreman and how his career kind of went forward. George Foreman was not always, real technically proficient, even in the earlier part of his career. Of course, he was a powerhouse, very similar to Deontay Wilder. A lot of people really were impressed and feared his power. However, in the second part of his career, of course, after he lost to Muhammad Ali and he retired for some time, whenever he did actually make his comeback, I think he had like a 10-year break. And then he came back, I believe, in 1987 at some point. He made a few comebacks, actually. So many of you will correct me on that. He was actually somewhat of a different fighter. He did have more technical skills. Even rewinding a little bit, even earlier in his career, he had somebody like all-time great Archie Moore. Archie Moore, arguably one of the greatest light heavyweights of all time, that taught him a lot of skills. As a matter of fact, that crab guard that George Foreman would sometimes use, that was inherited from him by Archie Moore. Archie Moore actually taught him how to use that particular guard. George Foreman, in the latter part of his career, he actually became more technically proficient, along with that devastating, ridiculous, awesome power that he already possessed. So I think George Foreman would know a little bit more about where Deontay Wilder is coming from. I don't think right now at age 34 you're going to be able to teach Deontay Wilder a whole lot of technical skills in such a short amount of time and have it stick. Because I think inevitably what's going to end up happening, you can show him all of these things, you can put him through all of those drills, but once he gets into the ring and once the fire starts coming and things get hot, he's going to revert back to what he normally does. Because the technical skills are not going to be familiar to him. You know, he hasn't adapted to it yet. He hasn't put it into practice in the actual fight enough times. But I think George Foreman could actually teach him some little small things that he could actually stick with to bring into the ring with him against Tyson Fury in the trilogy, just because of George Foreman's own history. I think he actually is a little bit more similar to Deontay Wilder, uh, at least in the earlier part of his career, he was than Floyd Mayweather was. Floyd Mayweather would have to, I think, start from scratch. I think George Foreman can start where Deontay Wilder is and then add small things that will make Deontay Wilder a much better fighter. Especially, I think, with the short period that he spent with Archie Moore in his corner. Now, I know he and Archie Moore eventually did split ways for various reasons, but you could see in the latter part of George Foreman's career, some of that tutelage did still actually stay with him. But, those are my thoughts. I want to hear y'all's thoughts. I want to read y'all's thoughts. Definitely let me know what you think. What do you think, George Foreman would be able to add to Deontay Wilder's repertoire? What do you think Floyd Mayweather Jr. would realistically be able to add to Deontay Wilder's repertoire with only a handful of months to actually train him? Anyhow, there's been a lot of good fights that have been happening. Hope everybody's been enjoying the fights, past, present, and I hope you enjoy all of the fights coming up in the future. Please, y'all continue to take care, stay safe, continue to love the sport. Peace. God bless.